I once again saw another interview with Spica. We were getting more information. Spica on why TSM promoted Yursan to the LCS. It didn't feel like we were moving forward. I saw this interview and it's just like, bro, like, TSM just looks like such a clown organization. Speak on why TSM promoted Yursan to the LCS. It didn't feel like we were moving forward. Still doesn't feel like you're moving forward, to be honest. I mean, I guess technically they're moving forward. They went from having 0% win rate in LCS to now having like what's 1 in 8? Like 13% win rate? 11% win rate. Sorry, they have 11% win rate, not 13. My bad. Anyways, there's no better way to say it. TSM are in a hole right now. The former LCS dynasty is currently glued at last place with a Jesus Christ, with a 1-8 record after a 0-3 super week. And actually, they are kind of glued if you think about it, because even if they go 2-0 this week, they are not able to overtake CLG because they lose they're down in the head-to-head. So they are actually guaranteed last place through 5 wins, or through 5 weeks. I mean, even if they have 3 wins, they'll still be guaranteed last place in LCS through 5 out of the 8 weeks. So kind of crazy. TSM's only win was against the Bortles, which was a huge throw by Bortles. And the factors that led to the victory had far more to do with IMT misplaying than TSM outplaying. True. After losing their first match of week 4 of the 2022 LCS Spring Split, TSM jungler Mingyi Spica Lu sat down with Inven Global to discuss how the team is trying to fix their problems, his role in doing so, and the reasoning behind promoting TSM Academy support Wang Yursan Shen Yu in place of Wei Shenyi Zijie. Are there things you can take away from this game in terms of improvement and ultimately losing the match? Wait, what? What game? Whatever, bro. Yeah, I think the biggest improvement I saw is that bot lane is playing really, really well. Obviously, Yursan's only been with us for 2 weeks at this point, so I'm really proud of how they performed today against FBI and Hui, who are one of the best bot lanes in the league. Okay, so I guess it's a 100 Thieves game. I think they really played really well against them and even got a kill against them. So I'd say that's very positive for us. They even got a kill? Holy shit. Wide people happies. It does feel like Tactical is looking better with Yursan than he was with Shen Yi. Is that due to the language barrier or synergistic element in terms of style? I would say that language definitely matters a lot. Being able to communicate with your lane partner in terms of how you want to play is huge, especially when it comes to synergy. I think that part alone helps Tactical perform better because he's able to know what his support is thinking. I feel like Yursan is a lot more vocal in game. He always says what he wants to do, and that just makes things easier. That's so weird to say because I feel like Shen Yi talks the entire game. Yursan played for TSM Academy for a good amount of time before his LCS promotion. How do you think he's adjusted to his new level of competition? He's a rookie, so there's a lot of things he has to learn. What I really like about Yursan is that he's really open to feedback. Whenever he doesn't know something or feels like he doesn't know why we are doing something, he asks the question, or he always asks questions. I can feel that he's very hungry to improve based on that. And I really like that. He works really hard and he played really well today. So hopefully we'll see that in our next 2 games as well. Spoiler, he looked by far better in this game that they played versus 100 Thieves than he did in the next 2. So he looked pretty bad in the next couple games. Okay, that's rough. You lost El Asico the next day versus CLG. I would have loved to see this interview after they lost to CLG because like you're kind of expecting, like you can have some positivity here. So if you think about it, right? Like they started 0-4, then they went 1-1 last week. And they lost 100 Thieves, which is expected. Most people think 100 Thieves should be one of the best teams in LCS. And then, like, once you lose to CLG and TL on Saturday and Sunday, that's when, like, you're like, holy shit, it's actually doomed. We're actually the worst team. We lost to the 9th place team convincingly. Like, we are actually just by far the 10th place team. This is before the loss that really hurts. What's it been like building support jungle synergy with a rookie midway through the split? Are you taking a leading role in that dynamic? We're not focusing on that very much right now because we are a new team. There are a lot of things to figure out right now. I'm just trying to help Kaido. He's very new, so I'm helping him a lot in game stuff. He's always asking questions about where he should ward, and I always help him in terms of whether he should push his wave or other things like that. That's why my main focus in game is right now. That's what my main focus in game is right now. I want to make sure he's doing okay and doing well. I mean, this is the guy that you literally scouted and outperformed like 20 people in a boot camp in China, and he doesn't know which waves to push. Like he doesn't know which waves to push and where to ward. And this guy was like somebody who TSM like scouted and was like, this is the man for the job. Do they know what they're like scouting? Like, I don't know. Once he builds up in terms of his mentality, I won't need to babysit as much in game and we'll be able to build jungle support synergy in general. Dude, one thing that I'm starting to get a feeling for, I might be wrong on this, but I feel like Spica does not handle community hate well. I mean, number one, like I don't think many people do, but just like when I read interviews from Spica and when I see like his tweet and stuff, I feel like he's like very defensive and like doesn't like when the community is, oh, I mean, obviously no one likes it, but like I think a lot of people ignore it more. And I feel like seeing the community go from being like, you're the MVP, you're the hero, to like, I assume that he was just reading a lot of it, because it's like when you're getting hyped up and you're reading a lot of it, it obviously feels good. It's like very self-serving. And then he's probably still reading a lot of like social media and things like that. And then when he sees everyone shitting on him, I just feel like it affects him and he tries to like deflect as much as possible. But maybe, I mean, it could be wrong. It could be wrong. Maybe all this stuff is just like true, but it's like, I feel like this just makes his teammates look bad, you know? It makes him look good, but it makes his teammates look bad. In the past, you've had other veterans on your team's roster, but this is the youngest roster you've ever played on in your LCS career. What has it been like adjusting to that for you while trying to maintain your own individual level of play? I will say that it's been difficult. I definitely did not expect to step into this role. However, I think this is the role I have to play. Our mid laner and support are very inexperienced, so there are a lot of small fundamental things that they don't really understand about the game. Right now, my focus is to try to help them in game as much as I can. And I definitely feel like my own gameplay has suffered a bit. I mean, this is like, it's just all excuses for like why he's playing bad, right? Like, I mean, even if this is all true, I feel like this is just very self-serving. However, that's what I have to do, and as I get better at this, hopefully I can level up my own individual play as well, and we'll do better as a team. I mean, it's just all like, I don't know. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. I think it's kind of like throwing your teammates under the bus. Your top laner, Huni, is the other really experienced player on your team. How do you describe both of your roles in TSM's communications structure? I would say that we don't really have a designated shot caller. It's more democratic. I don't like it when one person shot calls because I feel like everyone has their own ideas on how to play the game. It's good to have a common direction, but sometimes someone will have a really good idea that not every player will see. This really surprised me that Tactical calls a lot of good things in game that I don't see myself. He makes some really good macro decisions. Democracy in a fast-paced video. No, I actually think this is like fine. I think this is actually fine. I think the best way that things can work is like you have an idea of like who you're going to listen to if multiple people are making calls in crucial moments, but everyone needs to have like the ability to chime in when they see something that's really good. Like everyone's going to see different things. If somebody sees a really good play, like everyone has to be able to voice their opinion and not like feel like, oh, that's not their role. Right now, it's mainly three of us veterans trying to figure out how to play the macro game. Hopefully we get better at that. We can have a more uniform idea of how to play the game as they get better at that. Okay, cool. Spoke to Tactical before the start of Spring Split, and he said that he was excited to play with you again after your time together on TSM Academy. I know it's been a rough split thus far, but has your connection with him helped keep the team atmosphere light? Yeah, it's definitely really fun to play with Tactical. We were teammates in 2019, but it's definitely very stressful when you're losing and much harder to have fun. Still, we try to have fun and keep the environment lighter before games and outside the games. The atmosphere has been really enjoyable. So I think once we get more synergy and start playing better as a team, everything will be great. True. How does Chowie compare as a head coach to previous coaches you had in your career? His main goal right now is to help Kaido as much as possible. Chowie is a very experienced mid laner. He's played a lot of international tournaments against prolific mid laners, so he has a lot of mid lane knowledge, specifically in terms of how to help your team through macro play. I think that's something that Kaido was lacking when we started scrimming. He is very good mechanically, but on some of the smaller scale things regarding helping your team win the game, he's a bit lacking. Chowie's pretty much coaching mid lane like a positional coach. That's what he's mostly focused on, and that's what we're doing right now. I mean, I don't even need to say it. Like, I just have the same opinion now as I had earlier. I feel like the goal of these interviews is like to try to, it's not like to give insight into TSM, really. It's just make whoever's getting interviewed look as good as possible. Yes, I feel like his English is, so has Kaido's English improved? He was able to speak a bit of it in our interview earlier this split. Yes, I feel like his English has greatly improved in the past 2 weeks. Before, he didn't understand a lot, but now I feel like he can communicate exclusively in English. Obviously, there are some terms he doesn't understand and he will ask me to translate, but I really feel like he's had great improvement on his English. He's really hardworking and we have an English teacher for him as well, so he's learning at a super fast pace. So you're jungling, making calls, and occasionally translating in game. Yeah, I feel like the most difficult thing is making sure that everyone is on the same page. When our team first started practicing and playing together, I would sometimes make a call but be unsure whether everyone understood it. We've definitely worked on our communication in that regard and started using simpler terms. We've also made sure terms in League of Legends like tempo are understood because those are a bit harder to translate. Yurson's English is much better, so we don't usually run into too many communication problems right now. Once we get to the mid game, we still have that issue, but it's a bit more complex. But I do think our communication has improved a lot. Therefore, we need to focus on team synergy and small stuff right now. Okay. What do you say are the realistic expectations for TSM in the spring split at this point? Right now, playoffs are definitely still our goal. We aren't doing super well, but you have to start small. As long as we see improvement week to week, I'm happy. Everybody says spring split doesn't matter, but all I want is to just see improvement. I feel like that's the most important thing. And what I felt was lacking in the first 2 weeks of spring split, it didn't feel like we were moving forward. That's why we brought in Yurson. So this is the whole quote for the article. Wow, bro, it's literally not about Yurson at all. And they just titled this. It didn't feel like we were moving forward with Shenye, right? That's literally just like a random throwaway. The whole interview is about how much Kaido sucks. The whole interview is literally like, my mid laner is really bad, by the way. He doesn't know shit. And the reason why I'm bad is actually because I'm helping him not be bad. Like, if I wasn't doing all that stuff, the implication is if I wasn't like helping this guy ward and helping this guy lane, telling him what lanes he could push and everything like that, like he would just be completely running it. And we would be doing even worse. So I've got to look worse myself to help my new mid laner. But he can kind of speak some English though. I feel like now when you look at our games on stage, you can at least see improvements. Today, Tactical and Yurson 2v2 killed the bot lane of the defending LCS champion, and Tactical has been playing really well recently, or played really well recently, so he's gaining more confidence. All I want to see is improvement. Thanks for the interview, Spica. Is there anything you want to say to TSM fans? There are a lot of things behind the scenes that fans don't see, but I hope that they are understanding that there are always reasons for a situation. Sometimes decisions that are made are best for the team. You don't have to be okay with that, but you do have to accept that the team made a decision for what they think is best for them. Okay, sure. Aside from that, my message is to be more patient. Bro, I didn't like this interview at all. I didn't like this at all. I don't understand how, like, that's the interview, right? We just read the entire interview. You guys just listened to the entire interview. And when you go and you read what people are talking about, like, look at the first thing. Now we're moving faster, but still backwards. Like, do you think this guy actually read the article? Do you think that these comments are in relation to the article? Or do you think that these people saw Spica on why TSM promoted Yurson to the LCS and didn't feel like we were moving forward? And they just responded to just this. Like, I feel like no one actually reads. Like, and then this is just about Yurson versus Shenye. Why is no one talking about Kaido? Bro, this is why it's so hard to make content for League of Legends, because people don't actually like spend time to try to inform themselves of what people's opinions actually are. So people just think in like little like sound bites. Like people right now on Reddit that are commenting, it's so weird that they care enough to comment, but they don't care enough to actually inform themselves. Like they care more about typing something that will be a popular comment on Reddit than actually like knowing what, like reading and trying to absorb as much information from the interview as possible. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird.